Hello, are you out there? It's Mark with Redo Over, and we're back to Stellaris Vanilla playthrough, in-depth DLC, no DLC tutorial. We left off where we have vassalized both the Ishnian state, right here, and the Juvens. Not too tough. The only other civilization we're aware of is the Natfankan Citizen Compact over here. They're a ways away. Now, I realize we're only 40 years into this game, and we're in like episode 20 whatever. I want to finish it. I do. And I know right now Stellaris is looking at a 4.0 changeover. It's coming. I don't know when it is. I don't follow it that closely, but they're going to redo pops. We completely undo this game. We're going to keep playing. Don't worry about it. I'll play it as long as we can. I'm having fun doing it. And a lot of the concepts carry over from version to version of Stellaris. It's really just kind of a way of like rebalancing the details. So anything we're kind of observing here should be relevant to 4.0 in general. But here's the interesting thing about Stellaris. When you start the game initially, you can choose essentially what the early game, how long it will go in game years, how long the mid game will go, and how long the end game will go. Now, by default, we had that at 100, 100, 100. It's a lot of years. It's a really long time. Now, the early game usually takes the longest because you're doing a lot of micro exploration. A lot of anomalies are popping up. In particular, if you're reading the anomalies, as you're playing the game for the 10th time, you've seen everything. You might just see an anomaly screen pop up, read the rewards, and choose the reward without reading the text or understanding the story that's going on in the game. You could just play it that way for resources, and I've done it. I think we've all done that at times because there are only so many anomalies. You will have seen the same ones eventually if you play the game quite a few times. So it slows things down a lot. That's my point. So my advice when you're playing the game, even maybe for the first time, would be to reduce those time periods of early game, mid game, late game down to, say, 75 years each. 75 years, we'll jump to 150, and we'll end at 250 years past the starting year, which is 2200. So you would essentially play to 2450. We're going to play to 2500. That's a long time. Now, the game does speed up, though. Through the mid game, you might be fighting some battles. Those usually go pretty quick. You're just building as many ships as you can. Corvettes, destroyers, cruisers, battleships. Sending them out. They're getting shoot up. And then the end game, oftentimes, everything's more or less... I don't want to say more or less, but things really have settled in. All the borders are well defined. There's no empty spaces. There's no unexplored. Everything is kind of known and absorbed by all civilizations. Some major crisis will happen. You're going to handle that. So it does speed up as you go. I say all this because if I simply stopped sending my science ships out and finding new anomalies, if I just froze my borders where they're at right now, I could greatly speed up the play of the game. We could focus in on the colonies that we have, the planets we have, just get those developed and try and race through. I'm not sure what to do, though, because obviously the way I talk a lot, it takes forever to get through the years of the game. I kind of wanted to show everything and talk about everything, like read every anomaly, read every science, but I'm just sitting there going, is this going to be a 50-episode playthrough? I only do one of these a week, so that would be like an entire year of just doing this an hour at a time. And then some people would see like, well, why don't you just do more episodes a week? Don't get me wrong, I game a lot of nights of the week playing different games and stuff, but it's a matter of doing this early in the morning when it's quiet in my house. So there's a reason it's like I don't want to be obsessed with like trying to be a YouTuber, you know. I don't want to sit there and like be dumping 10 hours of each of my weeks into making YouTube videos. It's like, because I'm not doing it to like really grow a channel or make money. Like I make like a few dollars a month on this, you know. It's not about the money. It's just about playing games I really like, and I find it more engaging to do this, FYI, if anyone's wondering what the hell this is about, for me, because when I have to explain stuff and not skip over details, I learn more about the games I like. In general, I like complex games like Master of Orion, Gal Civ 4, even little tower defense games I got started in, like the Kingdom Rush games, where it's really understanding like what the heroes and what the tower's capabilities are, digging into them, seeing what works. When you're explaining it, you have to think about it, and it's vastly, even D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. I have another channel for roleplay, FYI, if anyone cares. And I've learned so much more about the Dungeons and Dragons rules set by making videos about Dungeons and Dragons than I ever would have. So just sitting down for an hour to a week doing a D&D based video over the last several years, or we'll say 2 years, I've tripled my knowledge of the detailed rules of Dungeons and Dragons, game mechanics, class builds. So for anyone out there who's going like, why would you make some like little low rent, low effort YouTube video? What are you getting out of it? Are you just like, you're just pretending like you have an audience and stuff? Because I only have a few dozen people that watch these videos. It's like, no, it's like I personally get a lot out of my hobbies of role-playing and playing strategic video games. I have grown so much by making videos that only maybe 50 people actually bother watching through a week. So, but it's well worth it to me in that case. So, yeah, I'm sure most of you clicked off by now, but if anyone's still with me, yeah, I think we do need to stop expanding. I almost feel like we should maybe just pull back. So let's run the clock. What were some of the things we were looking at doing? All right, we got stuff popping up. Research agreement proposal, that's not with us. That's between the Juvens and the Ishnians, which is fine. New technology, habitability plus 5%. By adjusting atmospheric filtering on a per-site basis to better filter out undesirable elements, colonial living conditions may be improved. So that little 5% is automatically applied across all of our colonies. It's actually a great technology to get because although the 5% is small, it's automatically applied. It doesn't even cost us energy upkeep. We just get it for free. So it's really nice. We'll hit new research, and we have several options. We've talked about blockers, why we're skipping on that for now. I almost think now would be a good time to go for food. This will give us 20% extra from farmers and 10% from our star-based constructions. Now, on our star bases, we do our hydroponic farms, which produce 10 food for 1 energy. But with this little 10% boost, that just bumps it up to 11 food, right? 110% of 10 is 11. So, yeah. And you can see we've been playing it quite tight on our food production in general. We're always hovering around 0, which is smart, but this will just give us a good amount of extra food for the growth of our colonies without us having to put a lot more farmers in the field. There you go. And that'll come pretty quickly. In 9 months, 12 months, and 34 months out, we're going to get the exotic gases coming to us. And finally, borders opened with the Nat fan can. Whoa. I think that gives us fully open borders, folks. That is crazy. That's awesome. Let's do something. Let's be reciprocal about that, though. Let's jump into contacts. Our borders are open. As we look across here, you can see the Ishnians, the Juvens, and the Nat Fan Can. We're improving relations. That's what this symbol is, but we have no closed borders. If we were to go and choose the Nat Fan Can, jump into diplomacy, we could come down here and close borders. But that implies that they are open. You would see essentially that line with the arrow through it. That's the open border symbol. I'm not sure what the closed border symbol is. Similar to that, but I digress. We have an open galaxy. And essentially, we're friendly with everyone. Now, I can't guarantee everyone else is friendly. Oh, no. Okay, here, let's look at something real quick. The Ishnians, are improving relations with us. Last month, it's the very top sentence in the pop-up box. Last month it changed by plus 135. I don't know how or why, but that is a lot of change. Unfortunately, the Juvens, who were our initial vassalization, they went down by -12, which is chunky. You know, when it's changing by, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a month, that's pretty slow change. That's chunky change there. Chunky change. And finally, the Nat Fan Can. Last month it changed by plus 220. I'm so confused. I don't understand why. I almost wonder if that's a little glitch. I just loaded the game and hit record. I don't understand where that number's coming from. There's nothing in the game that should allow it to change like that. Not at all. We'll see if it levels out. Let's not worry about it too much. But yeah, we got open borders. So let's try something new. Since we've kind of sussed out what we want, we're kind of where we want with our area. If we gather additional systems, star systems, that's fine. But let's do something a little different here. Let's jump into science ship automation. And you can see here, you can tell a science ship to automatically explore, survey, investigate anomalies, excavate archaeological sites, or research special projects. You can give them the full mix. Well, since I think we're down to just one archaeological project, let's just engage everything. So essentially, we're going to tell the Russian ship that they can automatically go do anything they want. And we'll hit start. Now, they will finish this Study Strange Asteroid mission they're on. Now, the interesting thing about that is they will... I don't exactly know what the logic is. I mean, they're going to stay away from any system that's fully sussed out, but they'll probably head down here into this area because it's physically close to our borders. That's kind of been my experience with automated science ships. But they could also, because of the open borders, cross Juven or Ishnian space into the Natfan Citizens Compact, and even down here into this unknown quadrant, or what's the word? What's the word for a third of something? Not a quad. Oh, if anyone knows what 1/3 of like a pie shape would be, rather than a quadrant, like would a pendant be quadrant? Pendant? Oh, I don't know. What's a third of a pie shape? If fourth is a quadrant, let me know. I'm sure there's a word for it. So we'll see what they do. But at this point, it's not really urgent to us. We have a really big chunk of the galaxy. We're good no matter what. If we see a really good system, we'll grab it. Or one with a good planet, we'll grab that. How about that? Okay. What else do we got here? The Armstrong is doing its excavation, but we will still click on everything. And they should keep doing the excavation till they're done, I hope. When they start excavating, they'll stay on that till it's done. They don't leave. The Gagarin is doing stuff. Let's click on everything for them. And finally down here, the Darwin, same thing. So this might alleviate a little bit of the time we're doing. They'll start doing that. And then let's do the same for the India. Automate construction of research stations and mining stations. Let's do it. And as long as there's a good surplus of minerals, remember each station takes around 100 minerals, they will be able to keep running. We don't need to do anything special for that to work. Let's go to our other constructor. That's 2 of them. And we even have a third right there. Now, they will not claim systems. They will not build that star base to claim a system. FYI, you don't got to worry about that because that would be very limited by your influence. So that's not going to happen. But yeah, they'll fill in any gaps anywhere. What if the lingual systems one we should grab? We probably should grab that. Here, hold on. Only because it's got Zro, and that is a rare resource. It's well within our space, but let's grab it. I'll send that out, and then we'll automate. Will he still do it? No. Shit. Hold on. We're going to send him to do that. We'll automate him later. Okay. We're running the clock forward here. All right. We got a couple things coming up here. Migration treaty proposal between the Ishnians and the Juvens. And The Ishnians want to break their migration treaty with us. This experiment has gone on long enough. Our migration treaty has turned out to be a serious mistake and will be canceled with immediate effect. So yeah, the Ishnians are feeling it. They're feeling the pinch. I mean, listen, their fleet power, economic power, and technology level are all inferior to us. I like that. Fine, though. We don't care. Listen, we have a couple worlds floating around right here. This Tundra world, Romston, is at 30%. Up here, we have an Arctic world at 35%. Those are worlds that someday we may inhabit. Remember, the plus 5% habitability increased the likelihood or the usefulness of those. But otherwise, we're not going to worry about it. Down here, we have another world that's Tundra at 35%. What else do we have going on? Commercial pact broken. Yeah, so the Ishnians are just tearing everything up with us. We were getting 6.8 energy. They were getting 15.10. So yeah, they're breaking one tie after another. And construction completed. Bernard Star there. He's just going to keep rocking those out. We don't really need to do anything with that. So there's a few things we should focus on at this point. We have plenty of headroom on our naval capacity. We want to keep pushing that number up so that our fleets are always a true threat against the Ishnians, against the Juvens, just to kind of keep them in line. We need to keep that pressure on them. So maybe we could jump up here to the Strattal station and throw out a couple Corvettes. Yeah, that looks good. And then on this side is, long as we are watching for symbols here, such as an up arrow, which would indicate the Capitol building's ready to be upgraded. Small little houses stacked together, which would indicate a housing shortage. A little square with diagonal lines through it, which would indicate a blocker that is ready to be cleared, meaning we have the technology and the capability to clear it. And finally, the jobs building slot available. That just means there's a building we can build. Now, you might sit there and say, why don't you fill up? Let me scroll through these. Couple of buildings there, one there, none there, couple there. You might say, why don't you just get those filled up? Get those buildings built. This is the interesting thing about Stellaris 3.0, the 3 version we're playing right now, is that buildings make jobs. They don't really do anything else. Now, there's a few buildings, like the Autochthon Monument would produce 1 unity for each ascension perk your empire is taken. That is a building that, in fact, does something by itself. Some other buildings might give you little bonuses to habitability, maybe. But really what most buildings do is give you a job, such as, in this case, the administrative office gives us 2 bureaucrat jobs. The robot assembly plant gives us 1 roboticist job. The Autochthon Monument gives us 2 culture worker jobs, etc. Here's the thing. Jobs don't do themselves. They need a pop. And this is probably clear to most of us, but it's not super obvious. If I just fill up these building slots, I may not have pops to then work the jobs. So the building is sitting empty. It is unused, and I am paying the upkeep. Now, initially, your buildings all take at least some amount of energy to upkeep. But as the building technology gets more advanced, they will start to require rare resources. And that can be very costly when you're paying both energy and rare resources for a building that has jobs that are not being filled. So I never build ahead. We could do all these districts. We could do all these building slots. We could completely build out Wentworth over the next several years. Over 10 years, we could fill up everything. But the population on Wentworth in 10 years will not grow enough to fill the 16, 20 job slots we would make, right? Our population probably only go up to like 16 or 18 over the next 10 years. But we could easily make 20 job slots. So that's why we don't necessarily go crazy. The one caveat to that would be if you can resettle, you could theoretically just build up all the mining here on Wentworth, make it a mining world, and then resettle pops from other planets, kind of bleed them dry. if you really wanted to say a lot of mineral, or you wanted a lot of alloy or research or whatever. So that would be a strategy. Now, might as well check real quickly. We do have the ability to relocate robots. They're not, I guess they're autonomous in a sense, but they don't have rights. They are servitor robots. They're essentially slaves, yeah, functionally. So we can move them from world to world. Now, a robot can take on a farmer job, a clerk job, an energy worker job, or a miner job. They can take on the lowest level, the bronze tier of jobs within our society. So yeah, we just started making robots. But you can see if I click on this human clerk, or just mouse over it, there's a red X saying we can't move them, actually. It would normally cost 75 energy and 7.5 unity to move this person. But we have a policy that resettlement is not allowed. Resettlement allowed, yes, no, true, false, right? It's a Boolean. We have it set to prohibited. It's false. We do not allow resettlement. That's how that reads. It's not set to don't allow resettlement. It's set to resettlement is not allowed. Whatever. You get what I'm saying. So, yeah, we could pop around miners. In the sake of the robots, as we are developing robots. Now, I can see Earth has a robot farmer. I can see that Wentworth has a robot technician. We could flow them around within our society. Now, a lot of people might initially, when they're playing the game, go, why would I build robots? My people are more suited, or I'd rather just have real people in my society. Well, if you are egalitarian, or you're very democratic, or you're all highfalutin, high-minded, peaceful, whatever the heck, a lot of times your people in your factions will not want you to force resettlement, right? People can naturally migrate in the game of their own free will, but you can't just mass grab a pop and move it to another planet unless you've allowed that. If you're militaristic or authoritarian, that's much more common, and you can completely rearrange all your planets. It's nice. But the nice medium ground, the happy in-between, is when you have servitor robots, you start building them, and it takes a while to get your robot populations built up, to get the numbers built up. But even within a few years, when you have 8 colonies and each one has built their first 1 or 2 robots, that now gives you a fleet of 10 to 16 robots that you can absolutely... You have a mining world where you have 16 mining jobs. You could just take the robots, put them in there. It's like, that's a mining colony. Robots do all the work, and I get a ton of mineral out of there. Makes it very flexible for 100 energy, and it happens right away. There's no delay, so you can just really quickly shuffle your pops around. It's pretty cool. That's a more advanced concept I wanted to kind of throw at you. So yeah, something to think about. I'll bear in mind that a spiritualist society, if that's like one of your... Here, we'll jump up to our United Nations of Earth. Over here in the governing ethics, I believe spiritualists don't like robots. So if you go in with spiritualists, you probably, even though maybe as a spiritualist you could move your human pops around, maybe, they don't want you to really build robots. Is the xenophile and the egalitarian that we are, they don't seem to want us to relocate people, human flesh and blood people. They don't want us to have that, So each, how you handle your pops and which pops are more useful and more flexible really very much depends on your governing ethics. Now, if you want to change that stuff around, I talk so much. Let's jump into policies and edicts here under our governments tab. So I hit governments, policy edicts. This is where you would get into setting those things. So very quickly, resettlement. We don't look at this much, but prohibited. If I open this, there's just 2 options. Allowed, prohibited. Allowed, prohibited. I could allow resettlement. I could do that. There's nothing... This would be grayed out if it wasn't allowed to me. So I'll jump up here to diplomatic stance. There's quite a few. Actually, are they all allowed? No, they're not. So check this out. Mercantile. See how the circle is grayed out? I do not have the technology because at the very bottom of the pop-up, The red X says, has corporate dominion civic. We don't. That's why we can't be mercantile. We can't choose that. We can choose these ones with the golden options. I'm not going to get into diplomatic stance right now, but yeah, we can adjust resettlement policies. Let's close that. Let's close that. Let's, oh, actually, no, let's jump back. Let's go to our factions tab. These are the two main factions. We're generating a good chunk of our unity. 60 from the True Democracy Foundation and 43 from the Alien Freedom Center. You can see there's a list of things they like and or don't like. Green is good. Red is bad for them. Yellow is impartial. I don't even know why they would list it if it's yellow. You don't have an opinion. Why are you telling it to me? So over here, what do they like? Anti-autocratic. That has to do with elected government. Free movement. This means that we don't prohibit or we're not forcing resettlement. Yeah. And where we're not turning on migration controls. We allow people to freely move as they choose in our society. So if we were to turn it off, we would lose that. The approval rates would drop from 100 to something less. And let's look at alien freedom. I'm just represented, ethic, benevolent, proactive. I guess maybe these guys don't care about resettlement. Yeah, they don't. They don't seem to. So you can see that each faction is truly a conglomeration of different ethic buildings, ethic focuses. Yeah, there you go, ethical focuses. So in this sense, the egalitarian seems to... Oh, that's interesting. Xenophile? It's not mousing over egalitarian, but egalitarian definitely seems to be what's causing these democratic folks to want free movement. So you know, there would be a repercussion if we turned off, if we could do forced resettlement. I just thought I'd tell you. And then let's look at one last thing. Let's jump to Earth. Let's jump down here to population. We could see our demographics. We have a 93% overall happiness, approval. Yeah, happiness functionally. You can see it's broken down by the ruler class. That's the top of the pyramid. The specialist, the silver, middle of the pyramid. The bronze, bottom, worker pyramid. And, of course, the robotic servants who don't count at all. They are not happy. They don't have emotions, we think. But, yeah, here we go. Assembly. This is how fast we're building them. We are trying to assemble a robot. It will take 130 robot assembly. It's a sort of a arbitrary number. It doesn't really represent a thing. You're just building one. You're building a fleet of them. We'll say 100,000. You're going to put into the workforce. 1 million. I don't know. Okay. We're increasing that by +2 a month. When it hits 130, we'll get a new robot pop. Assembly of a new pop will be completed in 9 months from now. The reason for that is that we're already at 113 of 130. We're most of the way there. But that shows you at 2 divided into 130, it takes 65 months, over 5 years to build one robot. It does take a while to build them up. Now, let's jump over to the ones we're growing, our human robots. We are nearly done here. They're growing at +4.69. Okay, per month, so a lot faster. We grow them a lot faster than we build them, folks. And we'll have another person done in 2 more months. And you can see this is affected by all sorts of stuff. This actually gives us the breakdown. Base growth, genomic mapping increases the speed. New life increases the speed. From immigration, that's right, we're not actually reproducing to grow all of our humans. Some of them are just moving here freely. No, we're gaining nothing from immigration pool on Earth. There's a +50% to nomadic, open arms agenda, +20 from immigration, -0.7. That's right. People are actually leaving Earth. It is not growing from immigration, although it is growing biologically. Okay, why is that? Well, couple things going on. It's a very stable place. It's got a large population, so maybe it's a little overcrowded for some people's taste, and there's no jobs available right now. We are currently wrapping up some more jobs. We're going to get some more, but yeah, that probably greatly affects people's desire to come here. There's no work. They don't want to move here. And it's overcrowded. Maybe? Okay. So let's jump to another planet. Here we go. This looks good. Alpha Centauri Prime. Quite stable. Not overcrowded. Hey, there's surplus housing. Plenty of amenities. Good amount. There's 3 jobs available. Let's jump into the population tab. Take a look. Immigration is also 0. All right. There's no emigration, though. No one's leaving. They have what they want here, so that's good. But if we have emigration from Earth, it definitely means that one of our planets has immigration. Let's jump over to Sirius real quick. 0. Let's jump to Owaikiki, sorry. Let's jump over to Wentworth. Nada. Where the heck are our people going? Here we go. This is a Uproth. We have the Juvens here, little bird people. Remember, we had the treaty that lets us, immigration treaty? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. So we are gaining 0.26 from immigration. Yeah. They're moving here, even though it's slightly minus 17 to planet habitability. All right. Niam, also growing from immigration. Is it possible that the Juvens like to immigrate more? I wonder. I don't know. Who else? Lishval? Growing quite a bit. Yeah, there you go. Nomadic and open arms. That's cool. Anyone else? Back to Earth. No. So, yeah. I think there's builds you could do where you would get a lot of immigration. People would really mix. But in general, we're open to people moving around as they want to. So it'll happen a little bit. I'm not exactly sure if there's a good way to really bump up a planet's immigration pool. But we can always force resettlement if we want to. We want to be a little fascist. We could do that. Here we go. We have a agenda ready to go. Infinite opportunities ready to launch. This will push our citizen happiness up from 4% to 10% for 10 years. We do it. And is there a new agenda to choose? No agendas available. Okay, that's fine. Man, we're just not getting anything done here, folks. We're running the clock. Construction complete. And bear in mind, the Adriatic is automatically building. You can see down here, the India is moving on its own. So here we go. We got the research complete. This is for our food. Farming techniques can be further refined through sophisticated computer simulations of different environments and weather patterns. This allows a more predictable crop yield. Let's choose new research. Fleet command. Again, this would be the number of ships we can fit into a single fleet. Okay. Might be worth doing at some point. Additional edict with the ability to open up the covert operations path. And it's cheap. We'd have that quick. Fleet traditions. Yeah. That allows us to make an academy, which would give our ships more experience when they start. The crews are trained up when the ships are built brand new. And logistics naval offices to increase naval capacity. At some point, we'd probably want that. An alien zoo. I think we talked about the alien zoo. Very good scientists on an alien zoo. Let's just bite the bullet for fun. Let's grab that. Let's grab an alien zoo. We'll have it quickly. Running the clock. And I'm just going to essentially let our scientists... And I'm going to pause there. We did grab Lingle, but I do want to make sure I automate him now. Right? The Yangtze, automated. Boom. Now that ship, that captain will decide what they want to do. So, what do we got here? We just finished surveying a system down here at Busim. Cool. Doesn't look like the resources are that good down there, so we'll ignore that. Construction completed at Lingle, and migration treaty proposal from the Ishnians. They just broken that with us? Whatever. We will agree. Cool. And we run the clock. What is going on? I have a feeling, I had the game open for maybe 20 minutes just sitting when I started this morning. I get my little camera and microphone. There's a microphone here set up. Get my coffee, right? That, when we were looking at the changes in friendliness, the plus 130 and the minus or plus 200, I think that was just some artifact. I can't imagine what did that, but if you recall, the Ishnians broke all these agreements. Now they're reforming them with us a couple months later. I have no idea why that happened, but this time I'm not. I'm going to decline. Screw these guys. We get very little science and they get a lot of science. Ah, decline. I'm not going to give you that. Screw you guys.
Incoming transmission.
Okay. Couple things. Let's open up the commercial pack. They want to give us a little bit of energy and they get a lot of energy. No, I'm going to decline that as well. I don't care. Remember, the less of these deals we do, it saves us influence. So there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind the migration treaty because I'm hoping if we're a better, more egalitarian civilization, more people want to come live with us, right? We should be able to outdo the Ishnians. So I think that works in our favor, although it's not explicitly stated, right? It didn't give you numbers of immigration, emigration. But yeah, we're saving influence by denying those. So we got a couple things going on. The election we will take a look at. Sleeping crystal nest. The trapped asteroid is in fact a crystalline being's nest. It is good that we didn't keep digging, for it seems like we agitated the creatures hibernating inside. If we do nothing for a while, study it from afar, it should settle down. What can we learn from it? Well, it becomes a trapped asteroid. It gets a +5 society modifier forever. That's a good benefit for us. We learn a little bit about crystal-infused plating technology, and we gain 50% progress on crystal-infused plating. So when that engineering tech comes up next time, we'll probably want to jump right in there since we're already halfway there. Cool. I am going to pause, though, to take a look at the election. You can see our favored person is currently our current president, Subira, and, of course, there's Dolores Mwanga. So they're both at the top. And what do they give us? Well, as a counselor, which would be a president includes one of the counselor positions, we get extra unity, we get extra governing ethics attraction, and we get colony ship build cost and colony development speed bonuses. Those are both good, although we're not developing new colonies right now. And then Dolores would get us council agenda speed bonuses of 5%. We're always running new agendas, right? The happiness agenda we just started, and leader experience gain +5%. I think they're both good. I don't really care, so I'm not going to put my finger and support one or the other. I think likely one of the two of them will win, and I think they're both great leaders. They're both level 4 leaders. No complaints, no comments. Yeah, we'll just let that go. And we're running the clock. And we will make sure that we are throwing in a couple extra Corvettes every now and again. I'm always going to be careful not to completely bury our alloys. I always want to keep a little bit in the piggy bank for, say, when we want to claim a new system or something. We want about 100 for that. Crystal pacified. The crystalline entities seem to resonate in response to something. One of their few interactions with their environment. The exact nature and possible wider purposes of this emitted waveform is yet to be ascertained, but for now our ships can approximate it by using radio pings, essentially camouflaging themselves as fellow crystals. We have become friendly with the crystals. Crystalline pacification modifier added, so all the red hostile creatures will now become yellow neutral. We can just ignore them and move around their space. They won't bother us. It's actually pretty good for us. And the crystalline entity fleets are rendered non-hostile. And crystal-infused plating gained. We already gained that because of the asteroid thing. I don't know that the asteroid was related to the crystalline entities. Or I think there's two separate avenues to learn about crystal plating, to be quite honest. So there's many crystal creatures in the galaxy, folks. Resonant, perfect, and we're going to keep running the clock. So the main thing we're watching out for right now is, again, changes over here to our planets. That's where we want our focus to be. So Siplim B4, Strategic Resource Discovered, this is exotic gases. That's fantastic. As you guys know, we're closing in on being able to exploit exotic gases. So we're going to have access to that. But yeah, let's take a quick look. What system is that?
Research complete.
Pausing that. Let's zoom out. Siplim. That's interesting. I don't see it gray there. It's weird. Situation log. Okay. I was hoping that would pop up, but I don't. I don't see it. Okay. I don't know exactly what that meant. Here we go. Technology research. Alien Zoo. Perfect. New research. Is anything really great for us to take right now? Pop growth speed wouldn't be bad. Yeah, let's do that. Let's grab... Or we could do faction resource output. You know, let's grab that, actually, because of this. It will get us a 10% bonus to our faction resource output. We do want to push our Unity up. That was something I was thinking about last time we were doing, like, Autochthon Monuments. Let's grab this, because it will be a Unity boost, and we'll get pop growth speed later. And then what else we got? There's the election. Resolution's been failed in the Galactic Council. System survey complete. Awesome. All right, they should just keep running with it here. All right, we got archaeological site. I don't usually read these. They're pretty wordy, but what's going on here? The work on deciphering the data log is ongoing, and progress is proceeding apace now that we're learning their language, large chunks of it. So, yeah, they're essentially trying to learn about the psionic subspace shroud that they were poking at and researching something they dubbed the Shroud. Some ancient species, they're now long kaput, but we're accessing these data files, getting into it. Let's see here. Continuing to show an affinity with the Shroud. Unit 415, okay. Had to be dismantled after the hulks broke down during the last experiment. During the test, Unit 841 is showing individuality and occasional loss of connection to the network. The risks of keeping the unit operational are being calculated. So it sounds like some of their robot probes are becoming autonomous. Yeah, self-aware. But what can we learn from this? Well, a whole bunch of societal research gained. Boom. And we'll say boom. And let's jump up here. Let's see what was... yeah. Again, I've had someone in the comments telling me that if we come up here and we click on this research, we can see stored research. But again, I'm not seeing it. I'm mousing over. We just gained societal research, right? Oh, there you go. There it is. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. You do mouse over right there. Stored 67,200. Well, there you go. I learned something new, folks. So the problem was in the past I would just mouse over it, but you have to mouse click and then hover over each one. I just assumed it would pop out to the side here like in brackets, but no, there's your breakdown. There you go. Tons of stored society research. I learned something new today. I've never done that. I've never been able to make that work because I always miss the click on it to lock it in place stage. Oh, all right. Running the clock. Election's going to be coming up shortly. Towed asteroid. For some reason, someone has towed an asteroid into a stable orbit around Siplum B1. The massive engine sections and braking thrusters can still be found on the surface, although they have long since been rendered inoperable. Whoever did this also mined the asteroid for minerals, but these opportunities were seemingly abandoned shortly after they began. Interesting. 3 engineering technology research added to Siplum B1. Interesting. There we go. Clocks are running.
Construction complete.
Pause real quick here. Let's jump into our Unity tab. We're closing in 6 months from our next pick here. Oh, we're right here. We're actually going to be able to cap off domination pretty soon. That's coming. Construction completed there at Lingle. And for the time being, they can't do anything with that Giro, but it is available. And let's just make sure. Yeah, they're automated. That's cool. So we're going to move on to the next thing. And a new ruler was elected, and it is Sabara, who was our previous president. So, cool. We win. We always win. And resource storage full. Minerals are capped out, folks. Okay. We got a couple options. We don't want this surplus 178 mineral going to waste, just disappearing like smoke. So, we could sell off a big bundle of minerals on the market right now. We could do that. Now that would greatly drive up the cost of, or drive down the value of minerals if we were to sell 10,000 of them, right? Check it out. Mineral. We could sell 10,000 minerals and gain 4,900 energy. That would help with that. I think a better use, personally, would be to jump in here and run through our 8 colonies real quick. Or 9? Oh, we have a holding. Oh, shit. I forgot about holdings. Okay. We're going to get back to holdings. Here we go. Earth. Maybe I'll forget. Maybe I won't. We need more jobs here on Earth, clearly. So, what do we want? What is Earth doing? Let's get another research center going right there. So it's spending minerals. Jump to our next planet, Alpha Centauri Prime. They are a mining world. You bet they are. Do they have a mining building? Not yet. We haven't gotten a mining building, but let's just get them another mining district. They only had 1 job left available. Generator world, Sirius, similar thing. Let's grab another generator district. Jump over to OI Crikey. They're a little tougher at OI Crikey because they have a lot of jobs available. Are there any features we can? No, we don't. We don't have the technology to get blockers. I'm going to sit on that. I'm not going to worry about that. Same with Wentworth. Too many jobs available. I don't want to flood it. Uproth. Let's get him. Oh, there you go. Jump over to Niam. Similar thing. It's a tech world. Yeah, let's get him another research job. Lishfall. I think Lishfall can sit. Too many jobs available. And back to Earth. And the other thing we'll look at is let's go through that one more time looking at housing. 20 plus 6 plus 10 plus 7 housing plus 14 plus 4. We'll gain 2 more with the industrial district plus 8 plus 7. Okay, so housing's not short. If you were ever to be down to 0, 1, 2, 3 housing, you would try and grab another city district because it gives you 5 housing each time you do that. There's a logic there. Okay. We've now expended some minerals. We've got a little headroom because we just burned through about 2,000 minerals. It's a good option. But now we need to look at our holdings. And we have to pick a holding for the Ishnian state because they just vassalized to us last episode. So let's jump over to the Juvens real quick. On the Juven world of... Well, Juven, I guess? It's a desert world. We have an aid agency. That is monthly loyalty change is plus 0.5. Aid worker jobs plus 2 for them. Aid workers produce amenities for the subject and unity for the overlord. Oh, okay. Look at that. That's cool. That's a good trade-off. They get 12 amenity. We get 14.32. Unity. I'm sure I noticed that, but I really didn't pay attention to it. There's your monthly unit, your loyalty changes there, that symbol. That symbol's loyalty. The deficit is -2 energy for us, for Earth, and -4 food, because it is an aid thing. So we're converting a little bit of our energy and a little bit of our food into 14 unity. Oh, I wouldn't say that's particularly efficient, but it is what it is. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a great deal for us. That's a chunk of food. 10 food is a chunk. Okay, no big deal. But, yeah, we needed to choose one of these for the Ishnian state as well. I want to go to Ishtari, the capital, for this, right? We're going to have a holding. We might as well have it on their world. So let's jump in here. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, where the hell's the planet? Oh, wow, it's so crowded looking. It is right there. Okay, and here is our building slot. 1 holding, 1 building slot. So we will click on this. We have 3 options. The aid agency, which we just looked at. The Emporium. Nice, a shopping mall. Overlord trader jobs. Overlord traders transfer subjects' energy credits to the Overlord in exchange for amenities. So they would get 20 amenities. Job upkeep would be 14. And job production for us would be 18. In the upkeep, who pays the 14 energy upkeep? Them, I think. It looks like the cost to us, though, up at the top, the upkeep would be 2 energy and 5 consumer goods. I'm not at all clear. I'm not at all clear on how valuable this is to us. Who pays the 14 upkeep? Because if we're only getting 18 energy out of it, it doesn't exactly make sense. I am assuming we're paying the 2 energy and the 5 consumer goods at the top. That makes sense. That's kind of like what the aid agency does, right? The aid agency does 2 energy, 10 food. There you go. So there must be some additional cost that they're paying 14 energy to have the Emporium. It's high energy, but they get a lot of amenities. Hardly worth it, though. I'm going to say these holding buildings, these don't seem particularly efficient to me, but maybe I'm missing something. And finally, the Overlord Garrison. Well, that sounds like a peach of a building. The upkeep is only 2 energy. Costs us very little. Every Overlord army on this planet gives an additional -10 to crime, plus 0.5 monthly loyalty. Loyalty at the tip of a gun, right? -5% happiness to a maximum of -30%. For the people here, they are unhappy the more armies we put here. So, crime and additional plus 1.5 loyalty a month and -15% happiness. Gosh. I'm sure if I very carefully read over all that, what's the breakdown? Is it? It's the first one is -10% crime, plus 0.5 loyalty, -5% happiness, to a maximum of -30 crime, plus 1.5 loyalty, and -15% happiness. So, okay, so it looks like up to 3 armies will give you a benefit. We put 3 of our armies on this planet, and we will make them very unhappy, very stable with crime, and a lot of loyalty. Interesting. I don't really care about that, so I want the Emporium. Let's go for more energy. No, wait. No, we want unity. That's what we've been talking about. It's going to be a hit to our food. Let's do it. It'll be built in a year. We'll see. It'll be another big hit. So we're going to be putting out 20 food per year. But I want the unity. Okay. That covers our bases. Let's jump back in. So we've looked at our planets recently. That's good. They're building. We can let that run forward. Where are we at on time here? The fumes lie thick. The planet Siplum B4 is a toxic wasteland, but our scans unveil that it has not always been so. A now extinct civilization seems to have destroyed its home planet via a heavy reliance on climate-altering fuels and toxins. On a remote hill close to a major city, we have found a lone active facility, a robot assembly plant desolated and surrounded by military vehicles, so deteriorated they break upon touch. The facility is alien and mysterious, but could provide us with ample study material. A cautionary tale, I'll say, holy shit. Gives access to the Improved Energy Initiative Empire Edict? Cool. That's unlocks an entire edict for us. We may not need it, but that's kind of cool that we're getting that. That's a powerful find. Adds the Fallen Robotics Society modifier to Siplum, so it's +6 engineering. Jessica Newman gains expertise propulsion 2 trait, and she just gained a new awesome trait. That's great. Cautionary tale. So that's Improved Energy Initiative. I want to pause and let's just jump up here to government, policies and edicts. I'm looking right here down at the bottom. So you notice how these are all like kind of grouped together. These are unity-based edicts, energy-based edicts, volatile motes, space nuts, and finally down here, this would be it lasts until it's canceled. It's pop consumer good upkeep -5. So it's essentially telling your people recycle. They recycle because they learned a lesson about exterminating yourself. And it also gives you research speed to industrial or material sciences tech categories of +5%. The speed, you get it. I actually don't exactly know how speed works. Research speed is slightly different than research. I don't really understand it. I'll be honest with you. That's cool. That's really cool. I'm looking up here that we're over budget. We're 124. We're losing 44 unity a month because we're over edict. So let's just take a look real quick. Research subsidies. Let's click off map the stars. I think we're ready to let it go. We're slowing down on our expansion. We've talked about that. That gets us tighter in, and it gets us back 30 unity, which we're, again, deliberately trying to focus on. So we'll run the clock.
Research complete.
We'll pause. We'll take a look. While we're doing that, let's build up our fleet a bit more here. I'm focusing up on Stratal because I do want to have a beefy fleet up here. So we'll do 3 more Corvettes. Perfect. Just slowly nudging this number up. We don't have a whole lot of extra alloy, so it's a slow process, but this keeps us very formidable looking to the other aliens out there. They won't mess with us. And it's pushing up our power projection. We're up to 1.57 influence per month because of our power projection. We can push that up to 2 as we close in the gap here. But yeah, let's look at our technology right now. Improved deflectors. So on a small ship, a medium ship, or a large ship, you can see it's different categories. But shield points, hit points plus 100. Daily shield regen 0.6. So it's just a better type of deflector shield. Space shield, you know, it's just Star Trek shields. These updated deflector screens are capable of soaking up even more punishment before they overload. Cool. New research. No real specials in here. Colony development speed. Probably not going to mess with that. The FTL inhibitors, that I think people can jump in, but they can't jump out. Is that what that does? Effect on hostile ships. Emergency FTL jump cooldown 100%. Yeah, it lets you blast them if they attack you. I'm not too worried about people attacking us right now. Excuse me. Up here we have energy credits. That wouldn't be bad. And we have transit hub and hyperdrives. Hyperdrives are going to... we haven't identified an existence of points in space. Yeah. I guess, what does the hyperdrive improvement do? We already can get on the hyperlanes, and we move across them roughly instantaneously. It's not like our ships are slowly creeping along the lines between the systems. They just zip across in like a day. It's just, they're there. So I don't really know what the hyperdrive 2 gets us. It must be getting us closer to more advanced travel technologies. But it's not sub-light speed. It's not the rate at which we fly around inside of a solar system, right? Like if our fleet flies from the star to this point here, it takes days to do that. That is not what the hyperdrive 2 does. So in a sense, the hyperdrive 2 is just a step to something else, but it doesn't get us anything in the moment. Yeah. Let's go for the energy. Let's just grab those energy. That's super cheap, and it's like the first step of energy. So yeah, let's grab it. 16 months. Very cool. Let's do a quick rebalance here, though. Let's just take a look. We have plenty of energy, plenty of minerals, a little bit of food. We're positive on everything. That is good. We still don't have access to exotic gases. Let's jump down to the market. Let's see what we're doing. We're buying consumer goods. We're buying a bit of alloy. I think those are both fine because we have so much energy. We're selling minerals. It makes sense. We have way more than we need. And we're selling a bit of food. That's fine. We have headroom on our food, though. That's good, right? We're giving away a lot of food, but we're in a nice, tight spot with that. Can we buy other stuff? We have so much energy, right? We're going to hit our max. Let's buy some space nuts, right? We don't need extra. We don't right now. We're generating an extra 4 a month or 6 a month, whatever. But we can store them into many tens of thousands. And we should, because as we develop, say, newer buildings like advanced research labs, maybe they will take a volatile mote each per month or whatever. But we have 20 of them. Then we would consume very rapidly our rare resources. So it's way better off building up a big surplus into thousands, many thousands. So let's do that now. And then let's also set up a buy of space nuts by 2. We'll add that. They're expensive, FYI. Look at this. The buy price is 13 and 13. So that's going to take up 52 energy. So we'll run the clock. You saw that just drop by about 50, but that's fine. We don't need all that surplus energy, and now it allows us to piggy bank a lot more rare resources. So we're going to build those numbers up. We'll do the same with exotic gases as long as we have the energy surplus to afford it. Let's jump in here. Here we go. Final pick in the domination tradition. Worker resource pop goes up by 5%. Slave pop, which we don't have any, goes up by 5%. And it unlocks the edict extended shifts. Perfect. We'll cap that off. Yes. Up here, the cap finisher effect is empire size for popped is at a minus 10%. So our little empire size number is going to drop from that. That's really useful. Remember, the largest empire size effect as the game progresses is always going to be your pops. If you look up there, you can see our districts are at a 24, systems are at a plus 27, colonies at a plus 60, but pops is at a plus 88. And that will just grow and grow as our planets go past 40 pops, 70 pops, 90 pops. Each one of them can get there, thereabouts. So the 124 pops we have now will eventually be 600 pops or 900 pops. So that number gets massive. So it's a very good benefit for us to suppress the empire size number there. Okay, and we did get an ascension perk. So let's jump in here real quick. We have a handful of them available. Galactic Force Projection, Grasp the Void, Technological Ascendancy, Mastery of Nature, Imperial Prerogative, Executive Vigor, Transcendent Learning, and Shared Destiny. Let's just mouse over these real quick. Extra envoys. Subjects exempt from divided patronage. Oh. That might actually be something we need. I'll explain it if I understand this. If you recall, the Ishnians and the Juvens are both our subjects, right? They vassalized. But we were noticing that the Juvens are on the decline in their approval with us. Why would that be? What turns our brotherhood, our unity, hostile? It's possible the Ishnians and the Juven are opposed to each other. So if I'm guessing, again, I don't usually do a whole lot of vassalization stuff. This is saying we just get 2 more envoys. Envoys are the people you send to like improve relations. They're your diplomats, or when you meet an alien species, you assign an envoy to make first contact. Those are envoys. So you just get 2 more of those. So we'd have a lot, way more than we need. In a tiny galaxy, it's way more than we need. So I don't want the 2 envoys. But subjects exempt from divided patronage +1. As we reach forever greater heights, we must not leave behind those who have loyally served us. The glorious future of our empire has always meant to be a shared destiny. We may want that. We need to find out where divided patronage exists as a value. Let's just mouse over the others real quick. Transcendent learning, leaders gain more and we get 2 more scientist capacity. Cool. Executive vigor +100 edict. That's not bad. It's flat. I wish it was scalable, but it would allow us to grab another really beefy edict right now. Like, 100 would get us a whole edict. Bear in mind, as our empire size grows and grows and grows, all of our edicts will get more expensive. Technologies, traditions, edicts, and campaigns all get more expensive. Right now, that's sorry. That is, you see, you can't click on that. You can't click on that one to freeze it. I'm left clicking and it won't lock the window. Whatever. It's at 20%. All that stuff is getting a massive 20% added on. That'll go up to 40%, 60, 80%. It matters because the 100 edict is frozen. Right now, 100 edict fund is a lot. It would be like, shit. Like, what do we have, like 80? So this would more than double it. But as our empire size invariably continues to grow, which it will, we can't freeze it. Even if we stopped expanding galactically, our populations are going to grow. So that number is going to climb. Meaning that each edict becomes more and more expensive. Right? They're not fixed. Just jump over. Let's go to government. Let's go into edicts. The clock's not running. These numbers grow. Right, look at this right here. Fortify the border. We've always had fortify the border since the start of the game. Upkeep is 31.30, base of 10, empire size plus 213%. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's even worse than I thought, folks. Hold on. When I read this, down in the middle, it says, at our current empire size, we have the following modifiers. Technology costs plus 20%. Tradition adoption plus 20%. I was assuming that also was a plus 20% to our edicts and campaigns. No. No, it's not. They're affected just straight up. Whatever this number is, 213, is the amount of extra percentage. So if Fortify the Border would cost us 10 unity out of our edict fund at the base, we're paying 31.30 because we have an extra 213% on top, that is exactly the extra 21.3 unity is the 213%. That is expensive. I wonder when you start the game, you're already at empire size like 50 when you start the game, so you're already to plus 50%? Is that true? Oh, that is. That is. Because I've never seen Fortify the Border for 10. I've seen it for 15 unity. I think that's where it starts. That means that empire size hoses all these. So when our empire size hits 500, this will cost 60. But I point this out so we can leave. By the way, this is on the energy costs, space nuts, all of it. It's going to hit all of them. But the reason I point that out is when we jump back in here to choose our perk, and we're looking at executive vigor, that 100 doesn't grow with time. It just will shrink in value as our empire size grows. So executive vigor is one of the worst. Just again, I learn and understand more as I talk to you guys about this. If anyone's here with me at an hour and 7 minutes in, by looking carefully at the traditions and the campaigns, the edicts and the campaigns that we just did, executive vigor is worthless. Right now it could get us 2 small edicts or 1 large one. Right? So that's just like 2 technologies, or it's like 2 good traits for a presidential leader, right? That's kind of the equivalent of how all this stuff works, So a little bonus. So right now it'd get us like 2 little bonuses or 1 good bonus, but it's just going to go to even less than that. We only get 8 tradition or ascension picks the whole game. These are big things. But that 100 edict fund will just shrink to nearly worthless. Eventually, it'll only get us 1 little edict picked. Executive vigor is bad. Okay. We got to pick this. So before we end the episode here, we got to pick one of these. Imperial Prerogative. Empire size for planets, minus 50%. And plus 2 officials capacity. 2 more official leaders. It's interesting. It's not bad. The 50% planet size, yeah, that's colonies. We're paying out 60 because we already have the courier networks is at a minus 25%. So that would get to a minus 70%. It would make the number of colonies almost free. Like just a quarter of what we normally pay. So that is handy. It wouldn't be bad. It would help immediately. Mastery of Nature. Clear blockers cost is minus 33%, so a third cheaper. And Mastery of Nature, it's a decision on all your planets where you could unlock 2 additional districts and max research districts for planetary features plus 50%. That's pretty cool. It'd be a lot more districts on all of our planets. We want that eventually, but we're not at the clear blocker stage yet. So at some point, I'll want Mastery of Nature. It would help all 8 of our colonies, but for now, we don't need it now. Don't worry about it. Okay, Technological Ascension. Research speed plus 10%, and rare technologies now appear 1.5 times the normal rate. this would change a 1% chance to a 1.5% chance. So yeah, to give you a scale, you're already at 1%. Now you're at 1.5. So it's a 50% improvement on on the chance of a very unlikely thing. 1 to 1.5. I like the research speed thing. Grasp of the Void. 5 additional star bases. It's not bad. I could see putting a lot of hydroponic farms on there or nebula refining. They could be a good resource harvesting thing for us. The only trick is that every star base and every module and building on every star base costs us energy. So you can have like 15 star bases all beefed out, loaded with stuff and defensive platforms, and they're all great, but it's expensive to upkeep it. Not only do you have to dump a lot of alloys in to build up your massive network of star bases, but it's going to hit your energy upkeep. What are we paying out right now? Our star bases are at 52. It's not that bad. But it can get crazy. It can be a big cost. Your fleet usually is a big cost, and your star bases can be a big cost. But it's not a bad one. I think eventually we might want that. And I see the FTL travel technologies now appear 1.5 times the normal rate. Interesting. And then finally, galactic force projection. Max influence from power projection +2. We're sitting at a +2 now, but this would let us go to a +4 influence if we keep our naval capacity maxed out. Naval capacity goes +100. That would roughly double. We're at 111 right up here. That would go to 211. That's really good. Fleet command limit +50. That's awesome. You see, when we got the technology, we skipped on the fleet supremacy was going to give us a +20 to our command limit. This is a +50. This is 2.5 of those technologies right there. And commander capacity +1. 1 extra commander. So if we look at all these and we try and compare executive vigor, which would get us about 1 bonus, 1 pip. Galactic force projection gets us a bonus to influence, a boatload of naval capacity, a boatload to fleet command, and 1 more commander. To me, that's 4 pips or 5 or even 6 pips. I would say that's influence is 1 good pip. Naval cap +100 is easily 2 pips in my book. I'm comparing it to like if it was a technology. Fleet command limit is 2 pips. Not good ones, but it is like 2. And the commander is like a half a pip. So that's like a 6 bonus. To me, it's 6 times better than executive vigor. In the way I'm seeing it. Okay. Do we want it? Do we want it right now? I want this. I want technological ascendancy. I want them soon. Couple of these others I want eventually. Okay. So Imperial Prerogative can wait. Mastery of Nature can wait. Grasp of the Void can wait, if ever. Galactic Force Projection can wait. It can wait. Why? Because we're not trying to get so much more influence to expand. We're slowing on expansion, so we need influence less. And we're already totally dominating on galactic on our fleet. Technological ascendancy is going to be the one. We're going to grab it. Maybe. Wait, hold on. Sorry, this is taking so long. There's one last thing we needed to look at, which was our vassals unhappy with each other? +2, -4. I'm just looking through here. Where is trust, subject, xenophile, diplomacy, free egalitarianness, improve relations? I want to know how they relate to one another. That's what I'm not understanding. So if I jump with the Ishnians here, trying to see our opinion of them. Yeah, they broke some migration trees. Their opinion of us. Galactic community member, friendly first greeting, was at war, accept plea of protection, bombardment, interference, trust subject, same authority, xenophile, improve relations. Let me jump into diplomacy. See their loyalty. That is loyalty is what we were just looking at. Intel, daily progress on infiltration, empire size, colonies trust. I don't know where the +1 is going to hit us. Yeah, shit. I can't really know that. Are they aligned well with the Ishnians? Let's see. This is a migration treaty. So the Ishnians get along with the Juvens and us. Here we go. Has Casus Belli on the Juvens. Oh, they do. And the Nat Fan can. Okay. Juvens have it reversed. So, I mean, they get along with the Juvens pretty well. Collect favors. Interesting. Independent. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. What I was trying to figure out was if shared destiny was important. Down here, subjects exempt from divided patronage. I don't know what it does. And I don't want to burn an entire slot to figure it out. Here's the bottom line. I feel like if relations among our subjects continue to deteriorate with us, we can... Shared destiny will still be here. We can grab it later. But for now, it seems like everything's pretty kosher. All 4 civilizations seem to be getting along pretty damn well. So I think we're in a good position. So I'm going to skip on shared destiny for now. We're going to jump up. We're going to grab technological ascendancy. There we go. That's it. If you watched, thank you so much. And this time we got through 3 years. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. If you watched, thank you. Take care.